Hello, everybody. Dan here. Welcome back to Daily Soap Dish. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button down below because we cover a ton of 90 Day Fiancé right here on the channel. All right, guys, so let's get into it. Today we have another story for everybody about Danielle Gates from New York and her man, Yohan Geronimo from the Dominican Republic. Now, is he her man? No. I mean, we've kind of learned at the tell-all that these two are kind of broken up, and we've seen on the show what happened. It was a pretty brutal and devastating breakup, but it was a breakup that everybody saw coming, myself included. Big reason for that, of course, is that they already broke up on the previous season of the show that they were on. Yet they tried to convince us that they were back together and happy for the first couple of episodes of this current season. And eventually the whole relationship just crumbled to pieces and there was nothing there. Yohan even tried taking the dog on his way out. He finally left the dog with Danielle. But this relationship appears to be completely done, even though Danielle is still putting out some mixed signals. One of those signals is that her and Yohan are still married as of now, supposedly. And she also has a big, massive tattoo with Yohan's name on her arm. It basically covers this entire part of her arm. And she has said that she's not removing that. And that's a little weird considering, you know, all the accusations that she's throwing his way, calling him a scammer, a Sanky Panky, using her, betraying her, everything. She's not going to remove that. That doesn't really make any sense in my opinion. But regardless of that, at the tell-all, basically part 2, so some spoilers involved in today's video. What's going to happen is that Yohan is going to try to accuse Danielle of smearing his name and slandering him. And he's going to say that basically because she posted a picture on a Facebook page dedicated to Sanky Pankies where she's, you know, spoke about, oh, watch out for this guy, that it was slander. However, this is going to backfire in Yohan's face because no one in the audience, when I say audience, I mean the people that are in the studio for 90 Day Fiancé, and perhaps most of the audience that is watching the show as well, but no one at the tell-all in the studio is going to buy it. And so it's going to end badly for Yohan. So let's take a look at what's going on here. And we have a couple of other things that we're going to discuss as well. We're also going to discuss Danielle's financial situation a little bit. There's been some changes there with her house in Florida. So, yeah. So these 90 Day Fiancé stars lash out at Yohan after his attempt to expose Danielle backfires. Yohan Geronimo expected sympathy from his co-stars after Danielle Gates defamed him on a Sanky Panky Facebook page. Yohan scammed Danielle for money and then started looking for other women to support him. Danielle exposed Yohan's scam on Facebook, leading to more women coming forward with similar stories. Then Yohan cheated on Danielle before their wedding and continued to engage with multiple women online, asking for money and sending inappropriate content. The 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way star Yohan Geronimo is facing the wrath of fellow cast members after Danielle Gates revealed how he scammed her during the tell-all. Danielle, who's 43, and Yohan, who's 32, had been dating for 5 months when they got married in the DR. Now, Yohan was looking for an American wife who could spend lavishly on him and take him to the U.S. so he could work there and make money. Danielle was looking for love, and Yohan's good looks and height were a bonus, as well as some other stuff that we've learned on the show that is perhaps a little more R-rated. No, Danielle planned on retiring from her hectic teaching job in NYC and settling down in the DR with her husband. Now, you know, throughout this video, throughout today's video, you know, we're going to probably talk a lot about Yohan, and we're going to kind of expose Yohan, and we're going to talk about how most people don't have his side. Now, I don't want you guys to think that I'm taking Danielle's side because I think both of these individuals are super flawed, and I think they kind of used each other. So from my perspective, I'm not really taking anybody's side, even though I do feel personally that Yohan, I mean, you know, considering the fact that he was cheating since even before they got married for over 2 years and supposedly with multiple different women, considering that fact, he was never really interested in Danielle and never really had any intentions on basically settling down with her. And so basically was just looking for somebody to use. And considering that fact, it's hard for me to support that behavior, even though, yes, Danielle wasn't truthful to him about, you know, bringing him to the U.S. In my opinion, I think she kind of did plan on it, but I think she got a whiff of his intentions early on. and decided against it because she didn't want to be one of these other people that we've seen on the show that bring the spouse over. You know, Memphis Smith is an example. Eve Arellano is another example. They bring these spouses over prematurely to the U.S., and then as soon as they hit the ground and they have their paperwork, they leave. The whole relationship is a complete disaster. And then you're responsible for these people in the USA. I think now it's 10 years or for lifetime. I forget. I think it was changed recently. And so I think Danielle kind of, you know, I think she did the smart thing here, in my opinion, even though, yes, she wasn't truthful to Yohan. Now, once Yohan figured out that he wasn't going to get any money from Danielle, he started looking for other women that could support him. As revealed in the preview clip of the tell-all part 2 shared by E.T., Danielle found out about a Sanky Panky page on Facebook. So basically, Yohan is showing this here. You know, if we go through this clip, he is, you know, getting fired up and showing this post that Danielle did on the Sanky Panky web page, Facebook page, I should say. And he's saying, look, she's defaming me because she's saying, she put a picture of me up there and she's saying this, and that about me. And what exactly is she saying? Well, let's take a look. It says, hey, all, you know, this guy is, I think that's what it's saying. This guy is recruiting women from Europe, Argentina, and Canada to send him money for businesses, in quotations. So please be careful. I'm happy to have private conversations with anyone who thinks that they may be dating him. So she's trying to expose him as a Sanky Panky user that is just basically trying to date people, but, you know, is expecting money in return, which is basically what a Sanky Panky is anyways. You know, when you look at the definition is basically a sex worker from the Dominican Republic, and that's kind of what they do. They expect money in return. And so from that part, you know, where Yohan is showing that, you know, screenshot, then Danielle is saying, yes, I know it was petty, but, you know, I had to do it. I had to expose him. And then other women actually came forward and even messaged me afterwards. And then most of the people in the audience, or at least most of the people in the studio, are taking Danielle's side. So let's see what else is happening here. She posted a photo of Yohan with a warning to women from Europe, Argentina, and Canada whom Yohan could potentially scam. Danielle felt guilty for being petty about her spur-of-the-moment decision to post it, and Yohan felt that Danielle had defamed him by doing so. Shockingly, Danielle revealed that more women reached out to her after the post, saying that they had been talking to Yohan. My opinion is this is past cheating. It's in fact scamming. So Tim Malcolm was one of the most vocal critics of Yohan during that whole segment. Yeah, and yes, he did say, I watched the video, he says, yes, he is scamming, and he's kind of really going after Yohan in that moment. And yeah, I guess in some way it is, but the only question is how much of that did Danielle know, and how much of that was she willing to go along with? Because I feel like that kind of plays a part in this whole thing. You guys let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below, by the way. Now, he's not only a scammer, but he's also a liar. Like, damn. So Andre Castrovet also added that. And when you're getting roasted by Andre, who is perhaps one of my least liked people on the show, you kind of know that you've screwed up. Although Andre will try to roast everybody, usually to deflect any heat from himself. That's a tactic he uses very often. But anyways, Danielle, meanwhile, apologized for her strategy, which was effective, but was petty. Holly Weeks also took her side, and she felt like Danielle did it to reassure herself that she was with the wrong man because Yohan had kept gaslighting her. So, yeah, Holly Weeks kind of went after that word, gaslighting. She really, you know, I don't know if she saw something of herself in that whole situation, but she was really siding with Danielle, and she really felt like Yohan was gaslighting her. You guys let me know if you think that's true or not. Now, Danielle agreed with her fellow cast member, saying Yohan was scamming and cheating on her, while adding that Yohan, what he did was also sociopathic. She revealed that Yohan was going around telling all these women that he loved them. You know, I think as bad as Yohan's behavior is, I'm not sure if it's sociopathic. I mean, just going around and telling women that he loved them, I feel like that's just part of the Sanky Panky MO. Now, not that I know exactly what that is, but I have a guess, and I feel like, you know, these guys, They try to get these women that are coming from, usually from the USA, but from other, wealthy countries, and they try to, influence them and kind of manipulate them, into giving them money and whatnot. And sometimes, getting into marriage with them. And so I feel like telling a woman that you love her would be part of the MO. That's how you would get the woman hooked. That's how you would get her to feel as if you are, sure that you want to be in a relationship with her. So I'm not sure if that's sociopathic or if that's just part of the game plan here for what a Sanky Panky does. Yohan and Danielle got married 2 years ago in November of 2021. What Danielle didn't know was that Yohan had been sleeping with a woman a month before the wedding. Now, Yohan was in a relationship with the woman who messaged Danielle about it once Yohan split up with Danielle. The woman had been giving money to Yohan and his family. She even visited the apartment where Yohan was living in with Danielle. The woman had DM'd Danielle to find out when she was divorcing Yohan so she could marry him next. She also wanted to move into the same apartment with Yohan. The woman even sent Danielle the naughty photos that Yohan had been sending her, I'm guessing the D-pics. Now, Danielle searched through Yohan's computer to discover 6 more women had been in touch with him over the internet. He had messaged them to ask for money and was sending them his inappropriate content. Once again, I'm assuming here, we don't know, but I'm assuming D-pics is what we're talking about. Danielle confirmed that she was separated from Yohan during the 90 Day Fiancé tell-all. Danielle and Yohan are still married legally, which is kind of mind-blowing. So there's always a chance that she forgives him and goes back to him like she did during season 4. So to me, I still don't really understand. This is a big question mark that I have. Why was the other woman willing to wait for over 2 years for Yohan to dump Danielle so then that he could come running to her? And it's a question to which I haven't really figured out an answer. I can think of one thing. I have a feeling that this past season, and I've said this before, was not really a real relationship for Yohan and Danielle. They broke up on the last season that they came on the show, and they came back this season, and miraculously everything was okay, even though Yohan basically told her, I have no interest in you, I'm completely done. Almost the same exact spiel as he told her on this current season. He did that at the last time that they were on at the tell-all. And so then they came on and pretended like everything was okay for the first couple of episodes. And then, stuff really hit the fan and the relationship completely crumbled and deteriorated really quickly, which I was not surprised by. But I have a feeling that Danielle and Yohan did this current season for the TLC paycheck. I don't think it was a real relationship. Not on this season, perhaps in the past, yes. On this season, I don't think so. I think they both got together and said, look, we can keep this, gravy train rolling, this TLC gravy train rolling, if we just pretend like we're still together. That's just my opinion. We don't know, and Danielle's not going to admit to that. Neither is Yohan. But that's my opinion. And if that is true, let's just say, then Yohan could have went to the other woman at some point, because we don't know how long this relationship has been kind of fake, because according to what we know about Yohan, he's been cheating from the get-go. There's multiple women involved. And so he was obviously never really that interested in Danielle. So perhaps this relationship was completely donezo even a long time before this current season. So perhaps Yohan went to the other woman and said, look, I have these obligations. I have to film this reality show. And, I make money from this. So perhaps once this is done, then we'll be together. Look, I'm not with this woman, Danielle. I'm not with her for real. It's just for show. It's just for the TV show. And it's, for that TLC paycheck. Once this whole thing is done, then I can come and be with you. And perhaps this is why the woman reached out to Danielle when she did at the end of the current season and not before, because Yohan maybe told her, look, this is going to be our last season. We are broken up. TLC does not want to film with us anymore because, our relationship is kind of stagnant. There's nothing else to show. And perhaps at that moment is when the other lady reached out to Danielle. This is the only explanation that I can think of, because otherwise, this is just a level of desperation by the other woman. People say Danielle is desperate, but this is a level of desperation that is just almost unheard of. This is really embarrassing, in my opinion. So I hope for that other woman that Yohan basically told her the relationship was fake and that, she just had to tough it out for a while, because otherwise it's a really bad look for her. Now, I did want to talk to you guys a little bit about Danielle as well. So we've kind of roasted Yohan so far. Well, it's not all roses for Danielle either. A lot of people don't really support her because she's kind of wishy-washy. She says one thing, then she says something else. She goes on these long tirades on Instagram and where she's all over the place. And I just get the feeling overall she's just not very likable. And I do think that she is a little fake because the relationship is fake. And a lot of people just don't seem to really take to her. So if we go on Reddit, this is what one person wrote recently. Danielle is ridiculous. Yohan has been a Sanky Panky since day one, and everybody tried to tell her that. Now, after 3 or so seasons of various 90 Day Fiancé shows, she's going to show the world who he really is, and I have the receipts. Girl, bye. And, so this is kind of a bit of, a feeling that I've seen other people have about Danielle. Like, why didn't she know? Why wasn't she more aware about who Yohan was beforehand? She says, that she's a smart, independent woman and whatnot. Yet it was obvious, completely obvious, who Yohan was long, long time ago, but she still went along with it. Maybe she was willing to be used. Maybe she just was desperate to be on the show. Like I said, if that's the case, then her angle was fake. But it just doesn't make a lot of sense that she would just play dumb for so long to something that was so obvious. Like, everybody saw it. You guys let me know if you saw it, because I sure as hell did. And I think many other people did as well. You guys let me know what you think Danielle kind of went along, played dumb to Yohan's true intentions for so long. He was even honest and even said it to her what he was about. And even if he didn't say it in words, it was obvious in his body language and everything else. And she pretended like this kind of came out of left field. I don't really get it. Other people don't either. And that's why people are calling her out. Now, another reason why people are calling her out is, as you guys know, Danielle has had some financial problems, and many people have accused her of basically running away from her financial issues in the USA, which is why she wanted to go and stay in the DR and not come back to the USA. Well, she's back in the USA now, but a lot of people still think that she ran away, and this whole thing with Yohan, this whole escapade, was basically because of all her financial issues in the USA. Now, this 90 Day Fiancé account, 90 Day Chisme on Instagram, just posted this not very long ago. And, after Yohan encouraged Danielle to get a house and stop living her luxury life empty-handed, she pushed back on him. Well, it appears that the owner of this house, a possible relative of Danielle, has added her onto the deed after she moved to Florida and refinanced the home just so that her broke ass can afford to make the payments. Whoa, just whoa. Relative name and address has been masked. She's still a loser, leeching off other people. Shake my hand. What do y'all think about this brat? And here it's a picture of the home, and there's the current owner, there's the assessed value and sale amount and whatnot. There's all this information here. But if I remember correctly, I think that this was her grandmother's home. I think it was a close relative in any case. I remember reading somewhere that. And she's been kind of spending her time in Florida. I think she's also been in New York as well. So she's been kind of going in both areas a little bit recently, even before her latest blow up fight with Yohan on the show. She's been in the States for quite some time, a few weeks at the very least. So yes, this is another thing. People calling her, a financial deadbeat, I guess, somebody that just has tons of financial problems. A lot of people don't like her for it. Now, I did want to touch on one last thing, and that's what Danielle thinks about, reality TV being fake, because I've spoken about how I felt that, their latest segments on this current season were fake. And this is what Danielle has to say about that. Let's take a look and a listen.
We have to recognize that the show is going to be the most entertaining version of the truth. Reality TV is always going to be the most entertaining version of the truth without creating a completely different storyline. I think.
Don't they also do that though?
I have not had an experience where they created a complete, like they made my husband hate me when he didn't really hate me.
Right.
They've never created an experience that would not have happened in real life. That is, I can say for sure. I can't really speak because of NDAs about like how the show is produced, but I will say that this idea that all reality TV is fake is not accurate. But to say that it's all real is also not accurate, because we have to
Okay, so Danielle gives her opinion on reality TV. And I have some issues with what she says here. She kind of, once again, in typical Danielle fashion, and this is why I have a problem with this lady. I wish she would stop doing this. She talks in circles. She talks a lot, but doesn't say anything, and in the end doesn't say anything at all, because she says, well, it's not all fake, but it's not all real. So what exactly does that even mean? Because you're basically saying that it's fake. If it's not all real, then it's fake, and if it's not all fake, then it's part real, part fake. I really sometimes I dislike listening to Danielle's monologues. She's trying to become a podcaster now, but I really dislike that kind of circle talk, where you go and talk around in circles. But this is what some other people had to say about this. Other people have called the show fake, straight out. And you have Devin Clegg, who said that, part of her season 1 was actually part of season 2 was real. It was 50-50 drama was real, but part of season 1 was 96% fake, basically all fake. Lana from the David and Lana show, who you guys remember was a big surprise when she showed up. Like, she showed up out of nowhere, and literally everybody thought that Lana was a TLC plan, because David, this guy was insane. He was insane on the show. He was going on a wild goose chase in Ukraine, and luckily that was, a couple of years ago and not recently, but he was going on a wild goose chase in Ukraine for something that just did not appear to be real at all. And all of a sudden, there's Lana. Everybody thought TLC called up a girl and told her, hey, look, you want to make $2,000 or whatever, you just got to show up and meet this guy. Everybody thought it was something along those lines that happened. And Lana herself, the girl that appeared on the show, said it was 90% scripted. Now, I think some other people have had things to say about the show being scripted as well. So, people like Jabri Bell have also come out against the show. There's been a bunch of people that have said, exposed the show, said it's very, very scripted, and the amount of influence that the producers have is very, very, very high. So I think Danielle, in that little monologue, I think is trying to cover her own tracks a little bit by doing this kind of double speak kind of tactic, where she's saying it's fake, but then saying that it's not all, she's saying it's not fake, but that it's not all real at the same time, which I think is kind of nonsense. And I thought their angles on the season were nonsense as well, but that's just my opinion, guys. This is going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please give it a big thumbs up if you did. Hit that subscribe button down below for more content right here on the channel. Let me know what you guys think about this whole Danielle versus Yohan thing. For me, I think I've had enough of Danielle and Yohan. I think we're done. I don't want to see them again. I'm more than happy with the amount of Danielle and Yohan that we've had. So that's it for me. You guys let me know what you think. Please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys very soon. Take care.